Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your support. Today, I read an interesting article on CNBC.com, written by Natalie Wu, titled, "Couple Spends $5,000 a month to support their 27-year-old daughter who moved back home." According to the author, this couple is spending close to $5,000 a month covering all of their daughter's living expenses, including food, transportation, and health care. Where does this young woman dine out? Is she getting food at a steakhouse every single night? Is she ordering lobster tails? Really, how can you spend $5,000 a month when you're living at home with your parents? Now, the article references transportation costs. I have to wonder, what type of vehicle is this young woman driving? Does she have a new Bentley? The reason I ask this question is because I drove by the Bentley dealership in my area recently, and they were advertising a lease which was $3,900 per month. My friends, what in the world is going on in society these days? I know a lot of young people who have grown accustomed to living lavish lifestyles. Some of this is because of their parents. I have a friend, he told me that his girlfriend, who has a decent job, is always broke because her children constantly order food through DoorDash. Whenever they're hungry and they want a snack, they just order some food through DoorDash, and it gets charged to their mother's credit card. He told me half the time they don't even eat all the food, and they just leave it out. They don't even put it in the refrigerator to save it for later. Why would they do that? If they want something later, they'll just order something new from DoorDash. Some of this is because of upbringing. I would never, ever have ordered DoorDash food when I was a child if that existed. I would always be thinking about how much that would cost my parents, and I would not want to be a burden like that to my parents. Even as an adult, I would never order food through an app like DoorDash. Nothing against that company. I'm sure they provide outstanding service, and there are plenty of people that have reasons for buying food via that app. For me, I would prefer to drive to the grocery store. I would prefer to pick out good quality food. I would try to be strategic when picking out that food. For example, if I want to get some blueberries, I'm not going to grab the blueberries right at the front of the display case. I'm going to grab the ones at the back on the bottom, because those are generally the freshest. Same goes for milk. If you're going to get a gallon of milk, don't grab the carton right at the front. Grab the one way at the back. It usually has an expiration date that will allow you to have that stored in your refrigerator for more time. Now, you can get groceries delivered these days, and more people are doing that. I'd rather pick out my own. If I want avocados, I want to actually feel the avocados. I want to know how firm they are. I don't want some that are too soft, that aren't going to be good in another day and a half. Some folks these days have caviar tastes, but they are on a shoestring budget. The young woman referenced in this story apparently has caviar tastes because it takes $5,000 to cover all of her expenses when she's living at home with her parents. I wish the author of this article provided more information regarding her expenses. I'd really love to see a breakdown of where she is spending money each month. It would be very interesting. I'm afraid some young folks grow accustomed to spending money that's not theirs. I learned at a young age how difficult it is to earn money. Therefore, I have always tried to be as frugal as possible. Sometimes I take that to the extreme. I still drive a 2004 Toyota Camry with 436,000 miles on the odometer. I could go out and purchase a brand new 2025 Toyota Camry if I wanted to, but I have grown accustomed to being extremely frugal. I prefer to have my hard-earned money earning interest or providing financial returns with investments. I know how hard it is to make money. I started working when I was 12 years old. I worked some very grueling jobs throughout the years. I like to be as frugal as I can when buying clothes, when buying food, or when buying big ticket items. You know, when it comes to clothes, I don't like going to the mall or to some high-end men's clothing store. I prefer to go somewhere like Goodwill. You can purchase some name brand clothes that are gently used. You could take them to the dry cleaner if it's something like a man's sport coat or suit, have it dry cleaned and pressed, and it will be just as good as a suit that you might buy for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You can find some very high-end brands at Goodwill if you look hard enough. You may have to visit more than one store before you find your size, but it can be done. Same goes for ties. I would never spend $30, $40, $50, $60 on a tie, not when I can buy one at Goodwill for $1.99. I have a Burberry tie that was very expensive new, and I got it for $1.99 at Goodwill. I have a lot of Ralph Lauren shirts that were very expensive at a retail location, but I was able to find those at Goodwill, and they looked good as new after I washed them and steamed them. Get yourself a nice steamer. I have a Jiffy steamer made in America, and you can use that to steam all the wrinkles out of your clothes, and you can have that high-end retail look with used Goodwill clothes. Take care of your clothes, wash your clothes with decent detergent, steam them, and you can look like $1 million on a shoestring budget. Instead of spending money on expensive clothes, invest that money for your future. There are far too many people here in America who have no emergency savings. They have little to no money set aside for retirement, yet they dress as if they were a multi-millionaire. If you saw them on the street, you would think they're doing quite well because they have nice designer clothes and accessories. But a lot of that was purchased with the use of credit cards, and some people have a lot of credit card debt because of it. Credit card debt here in the United States of America is near an all-time high, over $1 trillion. Unbelievable. Far too many people are tempted to buy things they can't afford with the use of credit. I know that's not the case for everyone. Some people, because they don't have an emergency savings account, they have to use a credit card to pay for some type of emergency, and I get that. It's unfortunate. But there are others who simply believe in retail therapy. When they're feeling down, they swipe the credit card or insert the chip card at the store, they buy something new, and they get a short burst of dopamine. They're happy for a little while with their new purchase, but that item may end up in the closet, rarely used. But the credit card debt remains at sky-high level of interest. It is truly tragic. I'm curious what everyone thinks about the story that I referenced today. Can you believe that this 27-year-old woman is spending approximately $5,000 a month, and her parents are supporting that right now? The father apparently is considering delaying his retirement because he is spending so much to support his adult daughter living at home. He's a radiologist, and in my mind, it is truly sad that he may have to delay his retirement because he is paying for all of his daughter's expenses. It's not fun having someone else on your payroll, and there are more and more parents who have adult children on their payroll for far longer than they would have ever expected. I have friends with adult children. Many of them are continuing to pay their bills. One gentleman that I know who has been retired for quite some time has multiple adult children on his payroll. He had to move into a small one-bedroom apartment because he drained his retirement account helping all of his adult children. He wanted to provide them with the best lives possible. But he spent all of his money doing that. Instead, he really should have taught those children how to be financially independent. And if he couldn't do that, maybe he could have found someone else who could assist. But instead, he decided to spend all of his money to help his children. But was he really helping them? Couldn't he have truly helped them to help themselves if he had taught them to be financially literate, how to make good decisions with money, how to invest, how to work multiple jobs if necessary, how to start a side hustle or a small business, empower them to make their own money? Maybe that's what the couple referenced in today's story should consider doing with this 27-year-old young woman who is draining them of $5,000 per month. And I don't know what the full situation is. I don't know what she's spending money on. Let's hope it's not because of expensive medical needs. I would feel truly bad about that. But the story doesn't go into detail regarding where that $5,000 per month is being spent. I just know from my personal experience, there are a lot of young people who spend as if they were a multimillionaire when in fact they have no money of their own. They're happy to spend someone else's money as long as they're allowed to do so. And I think at some point that gravy train needs to stop, and the young people need to learn how to fend for themselves. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.